I am from the land of freedom, the land of the setting sun.
So I go to church every day, and you know, but I'm lucky. You know, my mother is an amazing. She's strong. All my bosses were women. I got Martha for me, and they were all women. You know, my role models are women. Powerful women. You know, my ultimate role model is Hillary Clinton, an incredible woman. So I know women who found their voices and who are allowed to be themselves. But then you find that in this space, it's like women are clipped, robbed of their voices. I'm not even talking about the bigger things that we see, but just the fundamental things. Many girls think that they are being too forward simply because they are speaking. You know, many women get married having to remove everything that makes them themselves so that they can be suitable for marriage. You know, mothers feel like they can't be persons because they are sacrificing their ambitions, their everything to be acceptable to their children, because the image we have of mothers is that they have to be sacrificial people. They don't even have sex. True. You know, so we wonder how they got us here. You know, true. What do you think about the way women have to be in a society like Nigeria?
Okay, so I'm going to fall back. I feel like that's the thing with having interviews. I'm going to end up betraying a lot of people.
Well, let's do it. Let's do it. We have only one life.
I'm going to end up betraying a lot of people. And when they see it, they'll be like, I knew you were talking about me.
No, he's not talking about you.
Thank you. I'm not talking about you, but you know I'm talking about you. So I have a cousin who, she's one of my favorite people in the world, and we're very close. And she was married for almost 11 years. But half into that marriage, she just felt that it wasn't good. You know, she just felt really unhappy. And then her husband had cheated on her. But she was one of the first people I found to not mind cheating, which I remember her telling me that. I'm like, are you kidding me? You don't mind cheating? So like, I can deal with cheating, but I'm just not happy anymore. I'm like, you're crazy. If you can survive cheating, then you can survive anything. Yeah. So anyway, she called me one morning and then she told me that she woke up. This was about 2 years ago or 4 years ago. She told me one morning that she woke up and her husband was sleeping next to her, and then she felt like killing him. And I told her that, sweetheart, you have to leave. That's, you know, that's just it. You have to leave. That's the end of it. Anyway, so she decided to leave, and you know, with Igbo families, there's meeting for almost everything. So you say you want to leave your husband. Come and explain to us why you want to leave your husband. Give us 5 reasons. Give us 10 reasons. You explain to this uncle. You explain to this auntie. You explain to everyone. So when it was time to explain to my father couldn't just get it. My father was like, "What is unhappiness?
What is unhappiness? Is it beating you?" I know.
Is it beating you? Don't you have car? Have you slept under the bridge? Are you hungry? What is unhappiness? And I always have arguments with my father, and I'm like, Daddy, what do you mean that's not happening? He's like, I'm talking like I'm a small boy. I don't understand what is unhappiness. That some people that they're beating them, but as long as they give them food, they're still content. So, and then when I now told him that, okay, did you know that he cheated on her? My dad now said, she has forgiven him now. So I feel like what influenced my feminism, quote unquote, is just double standard.
Yeah.
I think when I started noticing them, I just thought that it was horrible. I thought, I was like, no, it's this expectation that because you're a female, these are the things that you must do. And because you're a male, this is what you must do. And I feel like what even influenced my feminism is people's attitudes towards me. You know, like when I was growing up and when I was in school, and everyone would be like, oh, you behave like a woman, you do this like a woman. And the way when they tell me that I behave like a woman is like, how can you be a man? How can you have man privilege?
Exactly.
How can you have male privilege and you still want to be soft? Or you still want to know how to cook, or you still want to... These are the woman's job. Yeah. So I just remember, and at those times I'll be like, really, should I stop being like an empath? Should I do, because I feel like that's almost the first thing that you know when you meet me. You just know that, okay, I can see a dog strolling. I'll start wondering where the dog is coming from or where it's going, if it had breakfast, if it had lunch. And that's a woman's job. It's a woman's job to work. It's a woman's job to feel. And a man's job is just to, you know, receive it and just be there. So those are the things that influence it. I started, you know, having reflections on myself, and I started thinking that why are there so much burdens on what a man or what a woman should do, you know. And I now started getting interested in it. And my grandmother was a feminist. She was one of those feminists who did not know that they were feminists.
Yeah, I know those.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
And there are many
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
And Chimamanda often talks about how
my mom doesn't know she's a feminist.
And they will argue with you.
She doesn't know that she's the reason I'm a feminist.
And she will argue with you.
Yes.
She'll say, no, I did not teach you that.
Yes.
So Chimamanda once said that the people who inspire her are the market women in Nsukka and how they don't even know.
Yeah.
And we always used to go back to the village when I was growing up. Sometimes we went for Easter, sometimes we went for Easter and Christmas, but we always went back for a holiday.
Right.
And my grandmother is this, wow, she's this human being that I just find very extraordinary. She has both capacity to be mean and capacity to be soft, and she's just, just this cocktail of so many things. And I just remember observing her and knowing the kind of things that she does and how she does it and how strong, and how she was one of those people who, when they walked into a room, people grew quiet, people kept quiet, and you could not tell if it was because they hated her or because they admired her. So she had that mystery of character that just stayed with her, and I just found it very interesting. But it was later in life that I began to understand that my grandmother was a woman who did not allow her gender identity, obstruct, her from doing things. Like when my grandparents lost a lot during the war, especially their house. Right. So they were in the house and a bomb literally went on it. Yeah, so they didn't have any place to go in 1968. Yeah, so everybody came out after the bomb. The fire was still on, and my grandfather is he's a softie. They call me my grandfather because I came back. Yeah. My dad's sister calls me Nam. That's my father. So I came back and my grandfather. So my grandfather just fell on the floor and started crying and how they should just kill him. And, he was one of those people who just couldn't see past the moment. Like his house had burnt down. He's lost so many things. Now he has to die. There's no tomorrow. And my grandmother, I heard these stories, by the way. My grandmother was the one who started begging him that, okay, in Palace, let's go. Once there's life, there's hope and all that thing. And my grandmother sat on the floor and crying that, oh no, he's not going anywhere, My grandmother went, found the wheelbarrow, put her 3 children in it, and left my grandfather there. You expect that in that kind of situation, a man is supposed to
that's his role.
That's his role.
Her role is to be crying.
Her role was to be crying and to be mourning and just to be very, melodramatic. And there was my grandfather on the floor, refusing to stand up.
I am from the land of freedom, the land of the setting